Hey, what's up? Good morning. How everybody doing? This is October the 9th, 2025, coming to you on this Thursday morning. I'm looking to give someone some encouragement, some motivation, some peace, hopefully. This is for entertainment purposes only. Just looking to help someone, and hopefully, this video finds someone that really needs it. Okay, I'm on a time limit, so let's just get right into it. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about miscarriages because I get these questions a lot. Like, when you have a miscarriage, do they go back to heaven, or do people consider them like a real baby, or you know, do they have a soul, or they just some cells and blood, and they're just nothing to beat, right? And I can honestly tell you that they go back to heaven. And yes, there are souls. They have their own soul, and yeah, they're real. The miscarriages are real. Those are real babies, and they do go to heaven. And a lot of times people I hear this all the time. Oh, she didn't even get to know her baby. I've been having my son or my daughter for 45 years or 20 years, or my daughter died at 5, or my son died at 10, or whatever have you. I knew my child. It's different than someone who's never met their child, and they had a miscarriage, and they never met that child, and it's a different type of love. They don't love like how I love mine. They don't love that child. They can't possibly know what I'm going through because they don't love that child like I love mine, that I've met and I've seen and I took care of and nourished and everything, right? I could tell you honestly, you're so far from the truth. It is unbelievable. Yes, they do know that child. They're connected to them. They are nourishing that child. They're nourishing from their bodies, And yes, they go through a grieving. You go through a grieving process, and it is a death. It's just because it came from, a miscarriage, came from, a death from inside, something that, trust me, you had nothing to do with. It was just not meant to be. And a lot of times, women, we blame ourselves like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? I did everything right. I didn't drink. I didn't smoke. I went on bed rest, or, I made sure I was careful, what did I do? What did I do wrong? Listen, you did nothing wrong. It just wasn't the time. It wasn't the time for the baby to come. For whatever reason, God sent it home. It was just not. It was just that child just was not meant to be at that moment. That's just all. But yes, you grieve, for your child, miscarriages. Yes, you grieve and you take your time. And as long as you need to grieve, and sometimes miscarriages, they tend to ruin relationships and things of that nature because the other party, or, they can't understand how you're so distraught, or you're so, out of it and depressed, and because they don't understand that it was, you felt a duty as a mother that came from in you. So of course you have this guilt, but you grieve as much as you need to, and if you need to, you need to go talk to someone or whatever, someone you trust, and you need to pray, pray for healing, and pray for, strength and peace in your mind, and do not let anyone tell you that you have no right to grieve your child. And some people they come off very insensitive, like, oh, wow, why are you grieving? Oh, no, you shouldn't be grieving. Yes, you should. You should grieve as long as you need to. And don't give up hope. Listen, don't give up hope. I mean, you'll have another baby. Just keep praying. You will have another one. Also, too, I want to talk about abortions as well. Hey, listen, pro-choice. Is your body, you do what you want. But those out there, that have to do it because maybe the career move, or maybe they have too many children, or whatever the reason is, right? And they feel horrible and they feel bad that they have to actually, get the abortion, and they feel just horrible. They feel guilty, and, they cry about it, just because. So a lot of people don't understand. Like, I've talked to some women that had abortions, and a lot of people don't understand. It still hurts them. They cry about that. Everyone that has an abortion is just not over there just jumping up and down, smiling for joy because they have to go terminate their pregnancy. Not everybody's like that, So people that are hurt because you had to have an abortion and you felt like you had no choice, just understand, you have that guilt and everything like that. Just understand the only thing you can do is pray out to God and ask that baby for forgiveness, because overall, we're all connected, and we all love one another, and your baby loves you and your baby understands. So just say, hey, listen, just reach out, just talk to your baby, in heaven, wherever you are. You don't have to just go to the graveside. If you want to, that's fine. If you have a burial site or whatever, or just a day that you've done it or whatever, just always, just ask, just ask for forgiveness. You don't have to always do it, but just ask for forgiveness and ask God for peace. Same thing with the miscarriage. The miscarriage, it's not of your fault, but the miscarriage, you try to remember the date that it happened. So you can, probably, have some balloons and get some balloons and have a name or anything that's going to make you feel better, or write a letter to them. Letters are always really, really super cool because it's personal. It comes from your heart. And it's the same thing with people who, didn't want the abortions. You write your baby a letter. Write your baby a letter and explain, everything that you want to put in that letter. And, everything you possibly can put in that letter with the miscarriages or the unwanted abortions, just write that letter. And then after you write the letter, you just pray to God and just ask for healing and just, move on and just burn the letter and send it to the universe and heal, literally, genuinely heal. Because you'll notice a lot of things that unsolved things that we go through in our lives, that we tend to do different things because we don't want to deal with certain things, and we wonder why we wake up in the morning and we're sad, and we don't understand why we're sad, because we took all these things in, these life experiences, and we don't deal with them. So, try to reach down deep, because at the end of the day, you can't lie to yourself, right? Really what's bothering you. If you sit down and you think about it, go back way back, and just think about everything that has hurt you. And then think about everything that has hurt you, and think about all your accomplishments, everything, how you survived through everything, and all your accomplishments, or everything that you want to do, and trust me, it's a big, big, big deal. Think about, being grateful for everything you have, waking up in the morning. Not everybody's promised to wake up in the morning. Not everybody's promised to just be able to breathe. Not everybody's promised to be able to see. Not everybody's promised to be able to walk. It's so many blessings that all of us have that we actually don't really kind of pay attention to, because we're so used to waking up and doing whatever is normal to us, right? So just remember that, having a miscarriage, hey, listen, stop blaming yourself, and let somebody in, if it's your husband or your boyfriend or your significant other or whatever, let them in. Don't close them out, because, overall they're hurt too, or, and it's a lot of people that hate to see you hurt. And so you definitely have to open up and definitely have to let people in, and, and want to heal and want to have peace. So I say to those, even the people that have the unwanted abortions, just let people in, to help you, to help you heal, and that was really heavily on my heart, because I was talking to a father, that his wife had a miscarriage, and it just really tore them up. And, I could see how he's hurting. And so it's just not the women that hurts. It's the men too. So anyways, I'm gonna wrap this video up, and I will talk to you guys soon. And I'm praying for everyone. Have a blessed day. You follow me, I'll follow you back. Leave a comment. I'll reply whenever I get it, as much as I can. But you guys have a blessed day. Like I said, I'm praying for everyone, and God bless everyone. All right, bye.